Free at last, free at last, free at last. Free at last. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. If you were free, if you were really free, what have you always wanted to do and something stopped you so you didn't feel free to do it? What if there was everybody around you that was just dead and they were imaginary and you could control everybody's reactions that are around you because they're not actually alive? They're just dead. You mean like zombies? Dead. Like The Walking Dead? Dead. You mean like the Grateful Dead? Dead. You mean like, people on the other side? Dead. No life. Dead. Dead. Completely fucking dead. And you were the only one that was alive. Well, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, isn't it? I don't know if I want to go there. Oh, come on. What's the difference? What do you mean? You're just imagining shit now. No, 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 no. I got you. I got you. You shouldn't be wondering. You gotta know who you are. You can't doubt that, you know. You gotta be something. Something you can feel, taste, touch, perceive. Yeah. Well, what is it that's holding it together? What's making it all work? There's got to be a source somewhere. The source of electricity, for instance, lighting the whorehouse or the church, is the same exact source. And if you want to have lights in the whorehouse or lights in the church, you got to have electricity. So it means that if you have the capability of perception, there has to be a source. Bingo. Huh. Personally, I wouldn't even consider it. Why? Because you're going to lose your mind. And we all know what happens when somebody loses their mind, don't we? How many times have you come so close to thinking that you might have lost your mind? Aren't you glad that you finally have recovered your mind and you're so sure you have? Doesn't it feel secure? Like a warm blanket or a little teddy bear or a clown. No, not a clown. No, those are evil. No, clowns are funny. No. I saw Clowns from Outer Space, and that ruined it for me. I don't know how many people saw that one, man. That was one scary movie. Shit. Clowns coming out of the toilet bowl and grabbing a guy and sucking him down the toilet. Oh, shit. No pun intended. No, that was just natural speaking, you know. There was no pun intended whatsoever. Oh, Lord. Well, it's good your imagination works. Yeah, I just imagined Dr. B.D. Green coming into the room. What room? I didn't know there was a room. Well, it's an idea. That's all it is. Well, what the hell isn't an idea? $3:00. Dr. B.D. Green, Tree Witch, Draculia 2, Briar Rose. Ugh. Hysterical Heretic, and My Angel. 3:00 is on Pal Talk Express also. How do you know? I just explained it. They just came in. They missed that part. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-bum.
Please enter the number you wish to call. The number you have entered is not valid. Please enter the number you wish to call. The number you have entered is not valid. Please enter the number you wish to call. The number you have entered is not valid. If you would like Please enter the number you wish to call. You have 692 minutes. available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. We did not get your message either because you were not speaking or because of a bad connection. To disconnect, press 1. To record your message, press 2. You have pressed an incorrect key. To disconnect, press 1. To record your message, press 2. Goodbye.
Hello. Hey, Bruce. What's happening?
Oh, not much. Stopped in your room for a few minutes. I see you were busy, so I didn't want to bother you.
No, that's it. I'm always busy. No, you're lying. He's a liar. Don't listen to him, Bruce.
Don't worry about it. Hey, so anyway, finally get some proper legal papers from this so-called landlord of mine. And so I've got 2 weeks to respond to it. I'll see what happens. I think it'll come down with a cold sometimes. But anyway, I didn't know if you might be interested in the photographs that I just found the other day. I was really surprised that he was adamant in the file, but I lost him with a computer crash. Actually shows, I think there's 2 different projects here. We were doing the exact same work around the building perimeter, changing out the cells, because there was issues in CK. Well, you see the pictures, there's no issue. They were allotted.
Oh yeah. Hey, did you see my ad update?
The outside the building?
Nah, I'm talking about Craigslist.
No, I didn't. I was going to go on that tomorrow, but no, I haven't seen it up yet.
Yeah, I updated it.
Oh, okay.
I decided what I'm doing now.
All right. Well, that's good. That's maybe something I should be reading before we carry it.
Nah, I just tell you about it. All I'm doing is playing around, putting out feelers for opportunities and stories that if they're appealing to people, they come and visit me, and I cut an individual customized deal that is just between myself and that person. Whereas I can charge one person big bucks, I don't have to charge other people anything. But I might ask for favors.
Yeah.
And that will be all up to me. You see, for 30 years, I set up various communities with certain rules and stuff. Usually democracy was having the ability. It's about the ability to convince things. I loved being in a position of being both the prosecutor and the defender. So I would take a position where I would prosecute and then defend, and leave the members of the community that I had formed to make up their own.
Over the rainbow, way on high.
Yeah.
I used to be married to an attorney. When I first married her, she was a public defender. The last time I see her, she was a corporate attorney. So she got away from being a defender because people lied to her too much.
Oh, yeah.
She had to go into law and say, this poor man, he was treated terribly, and then we get up in front of the judge, and the judge would go, what happened? And all of a sudden, the guy would fuck all of his lies. My wife would be standing there in front of him looking like a fool. And she came home more than one time, either crying or really pissed off and said, I can't do this anymore. I never know if my client's telling me the truth or not. I said, wow, that's the world we live in.
Well, my attitude was it didn't matter whether my clients were telling the truth. That's not that wasn't the point. I mean, to be an attorney, you have to know the rules of how it works. And you got to do your best if you're going to be an attorney. If you're going to defend somebody, you have to believe. You have to.
When you're working for a law firm and all your clients are making a fool out of you, you know, it's rather difficult. It's one thing to be independent, which she is now, and has been for the last, well, at least for 20 years. She's been an independent, and she's much happier for that. But when she was dependent upon local attorneys, you know, there was a road to hoe constantly. Didn't care for it any. I don't blame her either.
Yeah, well, I don't blame any.
I brought me a little gift tonight. But 6 ounces of legal coach. What the hell we call it? Making South anything with moonshine.
Really?
I took a sniff of it, and it almost made me
Yeah.
gag. It's so strong, I can't even. I tried taking a sip, but you got to wet on my tongue. And I've been in the South. I lived there for 3.5 years.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even touch. It's getting the most powerful moonshine I've ever been exposed to my entire life. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go take a look at your Craigslist ad. We can talk about that again tomorrow. We'll work out some kind of a plan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't found anything else to do, and, you know, I mean, if you're ready to do some work around and want to trade, that's fine. If not, we can do something else.
Well, I go by the way I feel at the moment. I don't have, making a commitment to some kind of future plan.
I understand that. I figured that out with you, and said, you know what? At least the one thing I can do is I can make a weekly rent payment. If we're not doing work, you know, because that's not something you want to do right now, then that's fine. And I'll say, well, here's your rent for the week or the month or whatever, you know, and let me know when we get busy. And we'll get busy at that time.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is take a position where I'm just open to the possibilities and the ideas and anything that anybody has to offer, I'll consider. I have an open mind.
Well, I don't have a lot to offer in the way of being able to take care of things.
Yeah.
I've been doing it all my life.
I'm imagining a bunch of people that I have an individual relationship with, and we connect on the levels of where we understand each other. And I don't have to have other people in the house that I also have the same relationship understand what my relationship is with this other person. But I can't have my guests fighting, feuding, drinking, brawling, and all that kind of stuff, unless, of course, they allow it all to be under surveillance live going out over the internet.
It's almost too funny to mention.
Well, that's what I want. I want the place totally under surveillance.
Well, that's fine.
I want.
You get a bathroom and a private room. That's all you need.
Well, there was a guy in Florida that went further than that. He said he bought himself an old building that was like a hotel or something. And then he invited the college kids to have free rent.
Oh, no.
The free rent. You know, the only catch was, Bruce, he did the unthinkable.
He didn't tell anybody he was videoing, right?
No, he told them that every room, even the bathroom and the shower, was under surveillance.
Oh, shit.
And that anybody that subscribed to the service could subscribe to any level of it. They could subscribe to the communal area where fucking was not allowed. And other areas they had where fucking was allowed. just like Pal Talk. You can get a nick.
Yeah, pay per level.
Right, only this is a community where you can search through all the different cameras that are available to you for your level of subscription and pick the cameras and the sounds from a control panel on your computer.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
And when you're bored of a conversation, you can just simply go to all the other choices that are available under your subscription plan. You can stick to the G-rated shit where you come into the community and everybody is playing the game and saying thank you and yes sir and yes ma'am and no ma'am and all that kind of shit, and work your way right into the dregs of the society, which some people would say the pits of hell itself. Or you can attend church. It is a cyber community that has a physical location, but the locations are in different parts of the world, and the claim is it's in one building,
Yeah, okay.
in one village.
Well, this is like the real TV that's never real.
It's real and unreal at the same time.
Well, real TV started calling itself real, but it was actually scripted. You had to have so many times a week.
Well, this.
You had to be in conflict. You had to do it. You had to act out. You had to yell. You had to scream. It wasn't real at all.
No, we've changed that. We've taken it to the new level. We're just creating a space that is totally broadcast. That means people are around that have their own miniature cameras that are broadcasting to their own channel, of which people can choose from, so that you can have an interaction of people in a room that you're actually being able to see what they're seeing from cameras that represent their eyes located on a hat or a helmet or a tie. And of course pick up.
A couple of questions. Let's go back to the me giving a room up there, okay?
We're going to call that a space. Yeah, instead of the normal language, we're just going to change it. It means the same thing. A rose by any other name is still a rose. So let's call it space.
I really would like to make that mine as possible.
Okay, here's Bruce. How this is going to work this way. When a guest comes, I'm going to offer them the rent of the house if I trust them. I'm going to do a background check on them, and then the system has approved you. So what happens is, since I'm running this show and these people are just, coming to see me, that's it. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. They're coming to see me. If they hang out with me, they hang out with me. If they don't, they don't. If they have a problem with another guest that comes in, and there's ever a problem, the guest that I have presently here can tell me, and I'll take care of the situation. Either that guest will be asked to leave, or there will be some kind of modification so that we can live in harmony. And if we can't live in harmony, the one thing that I know is that I'm not leaving. If anybody's leaving the facility that's been under surveillance for the past 30 some odd years, I'm not going to leave. I simply have to introduce people to the fact that it has been under surveillance for over 30 years. Not only this particular area, but the town as well. It's going to come as a shock. It's going to come as a shock to a lot of people. They won't like it. Somebody's going to pull the curtain down and say, folks, you've been asleep at the wheel. 20,000 cameras was announced many years ago in London. Now it's over 1 million.
Oh, hell yes, in London. You go to London, gone. I'm tripped out by what they've done there, and now you can go to Los Angeles, and it's almost the same way. I mean, it's amazing.
The only thing I have to do is make sure that people don't freak out that all that goes on here is theater, playing out various programs and recording it and playing it back for folks, then cutting it up, reconfiguring it, and making up what apparently are movies based on actors that aren't really acting.
There you
We're
go.
going to have days where
We're going to have days where people come in and have badges, name tags, some days no name tags, just people in diapers. We're going to have flash mobs, like announcing to the world that at Thoughtbridge Village today at noon, there'll be a mob of folks that appear someplace in the world wearing adult diapers.
I do flash mobs. Some of the first ones, I seen them on the internet in Japan. They were absolutely hilarious.
well, we have flash.
Well, we have flash mobs planned all around the world. We've developed an underground network, having been on the internet for quite a long time, and we have an underground. You've heard about it, the secret society. The people that say don't know, and the people that do don't.
And it's perfect.
And it's perfect. So you can say anything you want, and if people believe it, that's their fault.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. There's no way to tell.
So that's why
So that's why,
basically
basically, our disclaimer is the following.
there's no similarity
There's no similarity
or anything
or coincidence or anything else that apparently what we're talking about, if it does have some relationship, it's purely coincidental.
There you go.
all for entertainment purposes.
All for entertainment purposes only. No truth to it.
That's exactly the way it goes to read. For entertainment purposes only. In fact, that's the byline of Bell Talk. It is for
Of course, we have
entertainment
a
only.
secret handshake
Of course, we have a secret handshake for some of the newbies
until they learn to perceive energy.
until they learn to perceive energies. They don't need the handshake. They can instantly tell whether the story is in line with a liar. And that's why we claim that we never tell the truth, or that we are liars, and that's the truth.
Person on the road. Road.
Yeah, that reminds me.
Yeah, that reminds me, if you meet the Buddha on the road, be sure and kill him.
Just kill him.
Yeah, be sure and kill him. If you meet the Buddha on the road, be sure and kill him.
He gets a 600-pound fat fuck that, you know, with an overweight issue that's supposed to teach people self-control.
Yeah, really.
I saw that in that fucking movie, Anger Management. I almost pissed my pants off laughing. 600-pound fatty. He's trying to teach people self-control.
Actually, that
Might not be a bad idea. Who would you go to? Would you go to somebody who's been married a dozen times for marital advice, or would you go to somebody that went to school and is book read and
Well,
programmed?
let me put the same question back to you like this, and this is the way I heard it one time. Man running a church just gives a 2-hour sermon on not smoking cigarettes and how nasty they are. And then this is the closes with service he says, and I thank God I've never had one of those nasty things up on my lips.
well, that is a choice.
And a preference, and it certainly is.
It's a 2-hour rendition of why you shouldn't and not you should quit.
Yeah, well, I subscribe.
Yeah, well, I subscribe to that. I say whatever somebody wants to do and believe is up to them. Until it,
I would take my education from a guy who's never lit a cigarette. I'd rather have a guy who smoked a couple.
Some people have never.
well, some people have never.
I'm sure the doctor, when I ended up giving up the majority of my cigarettes 5 years ago, I did it for my health. I'm sure they knew what they were talking about. I didn't like a cigarette for 4 years.
Yeah.
Been playing with them off and on again for the last, I don't know, 5 months.
We've
But
created a space here.
Well, we've created a space here where we don't pay any attention to the clocks.
I don't either.
We just, a lot of us like to live in the now and see and watch it unfold. You never know what's going to come. Everything can, as you know, in a a blinking of the eye, in a twinkle of the eye. Everything. You can have a friend 1 minute that's alive and well, and
you just never know.
dead. No. It's got to have happened to a lot of people. You know, you say goodbye to Jimmy, see you Monday. On Monday, you see Jimmy, but he's in a box. Hasn't that happened? Jimmy was in perfect health. No way to know that he was going to be hit by a train. You just never know. The mind really has its security issues, you know. It really wants to be in a space where it can be sure of its safety.
Yeah, that never happens. You can want it, you can wish it, but, you know, there's that.
Yeah, it's a big wish system. People are living on wishes, not on reality.
Sorry, my am just totally asleep.
Can you wake it up?
Can you wake it up?
Yeah, I have to hold the phone with my shoulder.
Oh, you ought to get one of these amplifier phones. I wouldn't talk without it if it was somebody where we needed a telephone to talk with.
Usually I can hold the phone with this nerve damage in my arm now. You know, a few minutes is good, but a few more minutes it's real bad. Typically I'll realize it suddenly rather than, you know, oh, there it goes, it's getting tired now. It just happens all of a sudden.
I should tell you.
That you're being archived on YouTube and that you're live. And it's TV, which is only showing me talking to you, but your voice is going out over. Yeah.
I used to know what it sounded like when I was a teenager because the talk program, WGAM, in the evenings out of Portland.
Oh, yeah.
Those commercials and stuff. And even then, you know, your voice doesn't sound right to your brain because, well, it doesn't sound right. You know, I do have to put the phone down. Both my arms are a bit same-ish, so doesn't matter what's around, whatever. I'm limited in the time I can hold the cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
So, enjoy the phone talk tonight, and I don't care what the archives are. You know, me not. Got nothing around.
Well, same to you.
Same to you, Bruce, and happy 4th.
Well, same to you, Bruce, and happy 4th of July.
Well, I hope you enjoy your fourth.
Well, I've been enjoying myself for quite some time.
Yeah, well, enjoy yours. And by the way, what kind of name do you attach to your YouTube file? Can you do for
Go to YouTube and look for the channel. It's www.youtube.com/ThoughtBridge Live.
Say something Bridge Live?
ThoughtBridge Live. All is one word. THOUGHT. B.
Oh, you bought Bridge Live. Got it. I got it.
BRIDGE.
Yeah, bought Bridge Live.
ThoughtBridge Live.
YouTube is all is one word. And I've used YouTube to look stuff up all the time.
Yeah, well, what we do is reality rented.
Cool.
So all we have to do is edit out the parts that are not interesting to folks. And if we really do a lot of editing, we can find the meat. You know, like, where's the meat? Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? That's my little lady.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have yourself a good evening.
Anyway, you have yourself a good evening, and you know, if you try me,
I've got a lot of calls. I've got the billboard set up now,
Yeah.
and getting the place, making some changes in it. But I love it. Today is the official day that I have can wipe the slate clean from a past and try again and make all the same mistakes if I want.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, feels
All
good.
right.
Feels.
Well, I'll take a look at YouTube. And, well, probably both. But first thing I'll look at will be Cody's list and see how the new listing goes.
Yeah.
And
Hey, if you want to tune it in live, go to www.bridgetv. .tv. That's www.thoughtbridge, not with an S, thoughtbridge.tv.
okay.
And there'll be a link there where you can click on Joel Teages. And if you click on that link, it will take you to where you can actually watch it.
Okay.
But it might be several links you have to click, and you have to be able to read, sober enough or aware enough to be able to do that. And if you're not able to at the moment, you'll be able to do it later because it's all archived.
Great. Yeah, I'm thinking tomorrow's a better day for it because I was just thinking this because of your day.
Yeah.
Woke up in the middle of everything here. I've only had a couple hours up in time, so.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, I'll talk to you later, and I wish you a good evening and a good day tomorrow. And I think we're expecting some rain. So step outside and feel the rain and enjoy it all.
Yeah.
I love the rain. We can drink water. We got food to eat. I love the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a rainstorm yesterday. I went outside and I laid back in my lawn chair naked.
Cool.
And as it was thundering and lightning above me, huge flashes of lightning, it was like close. I was wondering to myself if I was going to get struck by lightning and how exciting it would be if I was.
You'd never even know what happened to you. It'd just be some crispy charcoal thing in the middle of the lawn chair.
Well, that'd be really cool, man.
I thought you that way and go, hot damn, look at this guy. He enjoyed life.
Well,
Alive.
Well, at least I wouldn't have to feel embarrassed for having left a body that was naked. It would be all charred. They wouldn't be able to.
That's right. So you're going to go, oh, that's so bad. Somebody cover that up.
It'd be better than dying of a heart attack in an adult diaper in the backyard and having shit myself. Now
There you go.
that would be embarrassing.
Okay. Yeah, nice dinner with you tonight. We'll look at the Craigslist and I'll probably jump right in the bed and try to beat the sunrise today. I didn't beat it yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't beat it the day before when I went to the doctor's. Boy, was I tired when I got that. Still trying to catch up.
Hey, did you know the sun is always rising and setting at the same time?
Oh, it's just the way the earth spins round and round.
Yeah.
That 23-degree angle, if we didn't have, half the earth would be frozen, the other half would be too fucking hot.
Yeah, I think the wobble was a pretty good invention.
No, that only happens every 26,000 years.
No, you're talking about where the poles reverse. I'm talking about the wobble.
We don't wobble every time we go around the sun.
I know, we wobble once a year, when it takes an entire year for the wobble to complete itself. That's what changes the seasons.
No, that doesn't. No, that doesn't. I've been to school. I've been to college. I've been to class.
You've been educated?
The earth doesn't stand straight up and down facing the sun. It leans back 23 degrees. Okay?
Yeah.
So when it's on, let's say, the right-hand side of the the sun is the right hand and the left hand, okay?
Okay.
When we're on the right hand side, we got winter time because the sun was 22 degrees leaned away from it. Okay? So we're always spinning every day, 24 hours. And as we come around out in front, we're still pointing the exact same 23. We're not doing it. Once we're pointing exactly away, and the next one we're like diagonal in front of it, and then we go to the left side, the same exact 22 degrees point straight at the sun.
What about the wobble? Yeah, but what about the wobble? I get that.
A wobble every 26,000 years, and it only happens when the Milky Way galaxy, which is a 5-armed spiral, and we're on arm number 4, and we do every 26,000 years, which we've done this for 4.4 some billion years. So many times the Earth has gone around the Milky Way center, and when it does this, there's a wobble, and it brings on an ice age, and it causes the Earth to take this big-ass wobble. And during this ice age, there are massive volcanoes which happen under the ice and under the oceans, and they actually have laid down blocks in the base of the ocean. And then the next layer will point north, but they're aiming at the point of South America, Atlantica, and then they point north again, and it's every 26,000 years. And yet we've been able to find from the coast of California out into the middle of where it starts thousands of these.
Really?
Pointing this way. The natives learned this when they were trying to figure a way how to fuck with the subs. We don't want to do that again with the Nazis. So after World War II, they went out and studied everything. And they poured shit from way up to the ship. And they brought it up and they said, what the fuck is this plane to Antarctica for the North Pole? The magnet points that way. And so they had no idea. They had no fucking idea, whatever. But when they got to the middle of the Pacific Ocean, they found volcanoes, 2,500 of them deep beneath the Pacific Ocean that exist right now. They're there. Now, I find that it's going through a climate change. Nobody has said there's a 2,500 volcanoes under the Pacific Ocean have anything to do with changing the way the Earth is? No. Nobody even says this. No, it's warming up. Well, it's not warming up. This past winter, Crescent Lake here in Maine stayed 8 degrees below normal for the first time in 30 years. And it's still 8 degrees below normal. So why in the last 30 years has this lake suddenly become cold? Global warming, which they have absolutely said that's a wrong fucking term, and everyone says it. It's a climate change.
Really?
We don't know what it means. We have no fucking idea because as humans we haven't been here that long. We don't know. We can find bones and tools and stuff and caves and places that humanity has been on this planet for 200,000 years. And yet we have done a genetic test of every people of every land and we can only find a core group of 2,000.
Really?
How come we know that humans have been here for 200,000 years and there's only 2,000 that make up all the billions that are here today? Because I've got as much Japanese as you do, and it goes on and on and on. You can fit every survivor of every catastrophe on global scale into one movie theater.
Really?
This is a fact. This has been proven. This is scientific. This is not, and it took them many years, 2 centuries. This is what science has been trying to figure out for centuries. And they are reaching the pinnacle. They're so close to reaching the pinnacle. 20 years ago, they said we will never break the And that's the blueprint. Now, I have to read blueprint pages when I'm doing a multi-million-dollar construction, right down to the wiring, the plumbing, underground, above ground, in wall, on roof, air conditioning. Think about it, breathing. Think about a human being. It describes everything a human is. And I have to do that with hundreds and hundreds of pages. DNA goes on for thousands of pages.
Yeah, that's
And they
interesting.
discovered that there are less than 2,000 progenitors to everyone here today. Now, we know that 72,000 years ago, that there was a huge volcano that went off in the southern Pacific Ocean. Now, understand 72 versus 200, which is how long humans have been here. It went off, and there was at least 5 years of frozen Earth, if not 100, because the crap in the atmosphere was so much the sun couldn't get through. Now, somehow, somebody, a small group, survived to maintain humanity. Now, 20,000 years ago, 72, 20,000 years ago, the glaciers moved in.
Oh.
And they were 200 miles high in New York City. And they released that thing on your head in line where we sit today. They
Really?
pushed debris 200 feet out into the current ocean. Now, if you go 200 miles, rather, if you were to take a boat, do soundings right up the coast of Maine, and go straight out to the Atlantic, after about 200 miles, it drops right off.
Really?
Because that's where the glaciers pushed and let go of their sediment.
Really?
See, the humanity has been on this planet for at least 200 fucking years. And there have been destructive, cataclysmic events that have wiped out whole generations of people, whole societies. The great strength of Egypt had, the Egyptians at one time had electricity.
Really?
Listen, they built all of the deep tunneling, and there's not one sign of soot, oil, burnt thing on the ceilings and walls of any of their work. And yet it's deep underground. Today we have to go down there with batteries and flashlights, and you can't strike a match. Because there's not oxygen for a match to light. I've seen it done on fucking TV. And the guy that was doing it, he got scared out of his fucking mind. He just wanted to leave. How
Wow.
did you carve that out without some kind of an air filter, air field, 500 feet underground? I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. How'd they do it? Just not just the Egyptians. I mean, you can go all around the planet and see stuff. Humans have been here with this basic DNA these 200,000 years. And you know what they found out more recently?
What's that?
Is that Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, all of them lived at the same time. There were at least 3 species of hominids on the planet living together, and they bred together.
Don't forget about the aliens.
Don't even have to think about that. That was before. I'm talking about the current event. Don't even have to go back to the alien. Don't even have to go. Just, we used to think that the Neanderthal would run off by the Cro-Magnon and they all know where it goes. No, they actually met each other, and they married into each other's tribes. I can't remember which was 10 times 30, because of the genetics of the left over today, they were 10 times one over the other, so they just absorbed them into their group. The guys in the bigger brains were always going to win.
Are you sure about that?
Say what?
Are you sure about that? The bigger brain always wins?
Well, normally the bigger body always wins, but the bigger brain can set the better trap.
Well, the body was huge when man had to deal with these huge motherfucking beasts.
Yes, that's Cro-Magnon was a big
And they didn't have a very big brain, and man had a bigger brain. A bigger brain.
Yes,
So
but the Neanderthal came along and took over the place of the Cro-Magnon, but it turns out that the Neanderthal had Cro-Magnon genes in his body.
oh yeah,
That means his mother and his father were from both tribes.
I just saw a documentary that said we all evolved out of fish.
Well, we could have. You know, as far as I don't care. But I do know that science today is looking backwards and we're finding out more and more. And the very simple fact that they have been able to find tools and artifacts that go back 200,000 years, which goes back to some of the most incredible catastrophes, natural, volcanic, from the sky and otherwise, and yet some groups of humans, way over here, way over there, and somehow they met up and they managed to have more children, and they were the last life on Earth. A lot of them died off, completely died off. Whole groups of intelligent humans died off.
Ah.
Yeah. 72,000 years of the biggest volcano ever understood by human South Pacific.
Really?
And it put this planet, and they can only guess, either 5-year nuclear winter or a 100-year nuclear winter. Either one. And somehow, out of that, 72,000 years ago, somehow out of that, we're looking at going, gee, there's only 2,000 different types of genetic profiles you can get if you add all the humans on the Earth up together. Does that mean that there were only 2,000 living humans on the Earth after that event?
Well, that explains my evil twin brother.
Yeah. I met my, what do they call it? There's a name for it. Doppelganger. You ever heard of the doppelganger?
Yeah, I have. Remind me though.
I mean, facial, everything sounds the same, looks the same, acts the same. You're a doppelganger. I was in Boston, in the airport. I was making a call home. I was calling home to my wife, my ex-wife now, and I was simply saying, "You ready to get on the plane?" And he won't stop looking at me. I mean, it was like something out of a fucking spy movie. I won't stop looking at him. And he walks in front of me, and he's not hurrying. And as he walks by, I'm thinking, I just went down, and I just was in a courtroom of law to swear against this really rotten church to get back $6.5 million from this poor woman they stole it from. And I'm wondering, is this son of a bitch here that hurt me? That's my thought. I'm not saying out loud. And I said to my wife, I said, holy shit, I'm looking at my exact self here in the airport. This guy never took his eyes off me. He walked past me. He's looking back. I'm looking at him, and I'm going, I don't feel really fucking safe right now. Can't wait to get on that plane. I just met my doppelganger, and I don't think that's funny. I don't think it's funny at all. I didn't hear his voice. I will tell you, I know you know what you look like in the mirror, right? If you walked in the store and you were looking at that face, that body, everything about you, were looking right back at you, you'd be going, wow, you look kind of like me.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people.
I met my doppelganger. totally, I think it was wild.
Yeah, I met people that reminded me of 3 different other people I knew, and that seemed like a mix of various qualities of the 3 other people too. Characteristics.
This one was me. All the, I mean, the clothes he wore, he dressed the way I dressed. Everything. He had brown hair and a red beard, like I do. When I used to be younger, I used to have a red goatee and goatee beard, and people would go, well, why do you put color in your goatee and make it all red? And I would go, talk to some, okay? So it comes out brown, turns red in the summertime. This guy, he got off the same freaking plane I got off from. He looked exactly like me. Like I said, 2 of us walked out, he would not stop talking to me any more than I would him. And I said to the other lady who died for going to witness in court over this same case. And I'm starting to wonder right now, there's something going on in front of me that I shouldn't be aware of on the telephone with you. I'll see you in a while, honey. Now you're off the damn phone.
Oh, yeah.
I got people were dying in that lawsuit. They murdered the he drove up on the sidewalk and ran one person down and that person. That church. Long them into a building on a brick sidewalk and then went back in the street.
Huh.
And the other one was taken out of the side with contact in real life. The guy was getting ready to walk across. I had other people I knew that contacted me and they said, you got to be more secure.
Huh.
You got to be more secure, dude. They get you in their subjects. I don't care if they got me in that site. Because you don't understand how many other folks that's going to take some off. They're not good. I said, they still have my mother and my father hostage in their church to convinced that I'm some kind of a drug addict, and I'm not. You know?
Right.
I don't think they're going to hurt me while my mom and dad is hanging with them. And they said, your mom and dad ain't mean nothing, and no, they're going to hurt you. I said, well, I'm still going to talk about them.
Yeah.
So, I did. I've been in the military, top secret clearance, but the people like that didn't scare me. Holy shit. I mean, they tried to recruit me into the CIA, and I had deep thoughts about that. And I'm glad they didn't take me.
Hey, did you get your vehicle fixed?
No, I do. I got to come up with money to fix the brakes.
Well, are you going to be able to? I mean, you don't have the money to fix it?
Well,
No.
a friend of mine, I think he's going to give me what I need to take care of it. He and I have been friends for 30 years, and I've helped him out a lot of times.
Well, hey, if you were going to use money for what we were originally talking about, just be aware of the fact if you get your vehicle fixed, I don't care about money. I'll trust you for anything that you say that you're going to donate or do or whatever in the future, and that's pretty good because I mean you're old. You could be dead any moment, just like me. I might not ever be able to collect.
Well, thank you for your trust. I can appreciate that.
Well, I ain't got nothing to lose. You know, I have everything to gain. Even if you rip me off, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
What difference is it? What difference would it make?
The difference in making it, I don't my personality is somebody else.
You see, the thing is, I got it figured out. You know, if I lose everything, it doesn't make any difference. I'm still who I am, regardless of that.
Cleaned up several times, I mean, totally.
Yeah, well, so I've been cleaned out a lot of times, you know, but not totally, except once when my mind disappeared, and that seemed like a total clearance.
Yeah, that happens too.
But that came back too, you know, so...
last December I cleaned out. I went to the Bahamas on a vacation, came back, and I had 5 and missing out of my account, 5,200. And like I said, I had the return ticket already in hand. I never really got out of the mountain.
Yeah.
Friend, that's quotation marks, of 10 years at that time.
Yeah.
Just found his way into my home and into my checkbook, and somehow he stopped at $2.82. I'll never forget that.
$2 and what?
82 cents. I thought I had 5,200 whatever.
Yeah.
And tonight I was going to go back. The next day I was flying out of the Bahamas, my favorite island, and down with the boys in Top Bay. And I go back my rental. I owed $1,000 on for the 22 days. And I went into my bank and it was $2.82. I said, oh, no. I got to pay for my truck rental for the last 22 days. These guys, I know them for the last, I can't. And I said, $990, that's what it was. 22, I said, I can't pay you, I have no money. He said, what? I said, someone on the other end in America is taking all my money. He said, you should have paid me first. I said, I know I should have paid you first. I tried to pay you first. But you said, no. That's no problem. You come back later.
Yeah, see, you didn't realize what I realized.
Yeah, I didn't expect someone to steal that from me like that.
Well, if you don't learn your lessons, you're destined to repeat them.
Well, when I came back, I was living in the house on their property. So right there where they live, where they stole from me. Back, he comes over, the same guy who stole from me, signed checks in my name, and you gotta leave. I said, what? He said, it's not legal, you can't live there. I said, what? He goes, well, the town said that, I said, what? Why does the town care about? Well, some guy in town noticed you're up here and the lights on. I said, what are you talking about? He said, this is an illegal rent. And I'm just standing there going, to myself, I used to be a building inspector for the state. I know the codes. I know what's going on. I know I'm getting stuck shit up my rear end. Quickly and otherwise, and it doesn't matter what I say. I just have to make a way to get out of here.
Yeah. Hey, what?
It's gone sour. It's gone totally sour. Oh, geez. And I made him $75,000 one year.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I brought him in for manpower on my job sites a couple of times. And I mean, it was like, he loved the hell out of me. In fact, there was one time after I'd known him, it was real weird. I knew Frank for a few months. And he was raking in big money over. And I brought him in. I'm the general contractor supervisor. So when I need people, I can collect them, bring them on, and go directly to the company. And I did. And it was all part and parcel, with some more. And Frank happened to be my go-to guy. And so one day Frank says to me, and it was getting on towards the weekend, he was like, "4th of July, what now?" He said, he said, "Bruce, he said, my wife, I love her and I do everything she ever wants me to. I do anything to make her happy." I said, "Oh, whatever. I've never met his wife face to face. I've talked to her many a time on the phone, scheduling manpower and stuff. I need 25 guys this week and not 12, blah, blah, blah."
422.
So, anyway, he says, call her up, and there are plans for us this weekend. And she's got the plans. I said, really? I said, I haven't had She's talking about me, her, and her husband.
Yeah.
And I said, I think you and Frank need to talk about this because this is not what I thought we were going to be talking about. He said, what do you mean? I said, I thought we were talking about a cookout, or, you know, we're grilling steaks. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you understood. I said, well, I understood something, but not this.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and she was right there when her husband took the money from me.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a good time.
Well, you had a good time, right?
I didn't go anywhere that weekend. Let me guarantee you, I didn't go nowhere, nobody, no house, no toys or anything. I said, she was so fucking embarrassed on the phone. I mean, she just wanted to hang up. I said, fine. Frank comes over, and he's still on my job site. I said, Frank, you never told me that's what you were talking about. I said, you know that you've known me long enough to know that I don't like drama. I live alone on purpose. He said, I'm just trying to make my wife happy. I said, well, you completely misunderstand me. You know, I wasn't being mean either. I wasn't yelling or nothing. I just said, you just don't understand me. I mean, I said, I get plenty of maids at the motels, hotels, Holiday Inns I stay at. I'm always a suitcase in my hand and out dumping them. I get plenty of them, and they're just the local whores and sluts that are, they see me with the, you know, nice suit and stuff, and they just want to, you know. I said, I already have enough of that going on. The day I met his wife, it was 2 ton of fun. I was totally freaked. All I see when I see round women is round women. I don't even see women. I don't see female. I don't see anything. I just see round. Yeah, that education cost me a whole lot of what I had in savings. It almost cost me a whole lot more, but I was glad to get the rest of that stuff recovered. I had property on my back. That 30-foot travel trailer I told you about?
Yeah.
Was on their land. Sitting up on this beautiful concrete slab. I went back to retrieve it a few months later, and they had taken it and driven it out into the fucking field in brush and shit that was 8 feet tall.
Oh,
and
shit.
Ripping it backwards into it. I mean, it was right in the green grove. You know what green touches metal, turns it destroys it. And I'm like, how much of the fucking siding got ripped off while I shoved it back into these alders? And I looked over, I couldn't even look at it. So we had a big, heavy Dodge, and we backed into it and grabbed a hold of it, pulled it out, and I went around, looked and looked, and I said, fuck, man, everything here is gone to decay, and it's been just the one winter fucking reason that they have to shove it up there. There was no reason at all. I mean, they owed me money. I didn't owe them anything. You know, of course, they never offered me.
Yeah.
You know, so I was offered and paid back for all the money I've been owed in my lifetime and stolen from me. I'd be pretty cozy for the last couple of years. Pretty cozy, actually. But they have made a decision. It's not going to happen again. I've got money, and somebody don't. It don't mean I got to give them what I got. I say it, but it don't mean I got to give them.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I do.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot more bucks in my pocket in my checking than I got today, but my first thing is not going to be to rescue someone else that has got problems. Because it makes no fucking sense. Why go help somebody else that is going to rob
Yeah.
And I'm not going to even try to describe or consider what it is. I don't care.
Right.
But I know what's going on. So the odd thing is every time a company, and I've done some big, massive companies, every time they have, well, the biggest one is somebody says, Bush, I want you to tell them why to that inspector or that owner. They have a big meeting this morning, or whatever, you know. And you would make assurances, blah, blah, blah. And I just look at them, because they know I'm not going to assure anybody of something that ain't true. So the first thing I do is I put the whistle out. I was grab my chief foreman. He looks at me, and I simply point to the truck. He grabs his tools, he goes to the truck, and we get in the truck, we drive away. He goes, what's up? I said, another asshole telling me to lie to the customer. Okay? He doesn't care. We're going to lose paychecks. First thing I do is drive over to the company. Say, I need a paycheck for Jim. I need a paycheck for them. The company's yet to talk to the owner, because the owner's over there stuck in that meeting trying to explain why something ain't working.
Yeah.
You have to leave them. And then I'd haul off every tool I had that belonged to them. Thousands of those tools. Stuff I carried every day. Last time it happened, I get a call from Charlotte, North Carolina police. And they go, Mr. Brown. I said, hi guys, how you doing? They said, we've been told you stole a bunch of tools. I said, well, I'm on lunch break. What do you mean? I said, I'm on lunch break with my foreman. We do this every day. It takes an hour. So where are you? I said, I'm outside of Charlotte. I said, well, that's always very the wife makes me a great lunch for my foreman. And why are you guys calling me? Well, we've been told by the owner of the company that you stole all these tools. I said, hold on now. These tools are in my truck all the time.
Wow.
Constantly. I'm always hauling them. I got 5 sites I have to be regular and constantly. So I take the 1, 2, whatever, 10 tools to this. I said, if he's standing there with you right now, ask him. Because I suspect you and him are in the same space, and they would ask him, does this man not carry tools for you? Or which guy does, but he stole them. They go, this is not one time, good guy, but he stole them. And see, now he was just making fool out of himself. I was sitting there quiet on the phone. Now, the cop said, could you come down to Charlotte and drop this stuff off? And I would say, well, that sounds like you're going to arrest me if I cross the town line. So, why doesn't he send somebody up here to get his tool? But I'd rather I get my last paycheck, because right now I think I need to part company with him. So when he comes down, have him call me back. Because these tools don't belong to me. I want to give them to him. And the police are all talking chat. And I'm laughing my ass off on the phone because they played him out.
Yeah.
No problem. Police come back on and go, well, you could bring him down, Mr. Brown. I said, I know, but he's already told you I stole him. So you would have to arrest him, don't you? Well, I said, so I'm not gonna cross 2 town lines to come see you, because I could just hey, listen, I know his son. He's a nice kid. If he could have him call me, and get my last check and Jim's last check from the office, and we'll all go to the bank and see the cash, and then I'll take him over to where my truck is, and I'll give him all the tools, because Jim and I don't want to work for a guy that is stealing. And the cop said, okay, that sounds cool. So I get a call from his son. Like 2 minutes later, he goes, oh shit, he's so fucking pissed off. And I go, yeah, I know, it don't matter. It don't matter to me. He's a thief, and you know it. What do you need
Yeah.
Because I won't lie for you. I won't lie for anybody else. I won't lie for myself.
Yeah, I like that. Works for me.
Simple. When the Navy pulled me in with the fucking interview with the general and all that folks, and I had no idea what they were talking about, but there's a lot of questions about honesty and deception and blah, 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 and it went on and on and on. And then they sent me on my way, and I left, and somewhere later I was told, well, if you can't walk by.
Yep.
Then I went, now I understand. I actually was interviewed for the CIA, and I didn't know it.
Ah, cool.
It is cool. It's probably the greatest part of it is he didn't accept me because I probably would have seen more things than I have seen that I don't want to remember.
Well, if you
I've
don't...
already seen too many things in my life that I don't want to remember. I'm serious. I've already seen too many things that I do not want to remember if I don't start remembering. And if I had joined that organization at, 22 years old at that time? Yeah. I'd have been one of these crazy assholes in one of these movies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they checked my background. Shotokan Karate, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Kung Fu, these serious areas. The Shotokan Karate, Kung Fu, I was studying that for years. I mean, who knows what the fuck they would turn me into.
Yeah.
Bad enough when I grew up with my own family in my own house.
Right. Yeah.
Not as neat as that. I got PTSD already. I would need that shit in my life too.
PTSD?
PTSD.
PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Ah.
And I can tell you that Bobby had it. He's dead. Took a 9mm through the skull 14 years ago. I can tell you that Brother Bartlett, he has it. I tell you that Brother Baxter has it severely. I tell you that Brother Bradley has it really bad, but he took a T-bone and an intersection, took him out 3 years ago, April. And all of us, except for the two oldest, which my parents treated like they were covered in gold. The other 5 of us, well, we get stuffed in our own private room in the back of the house. Bunk beds and 5 children, 4 bunk beds, and that means somebody doubling up for most of their life, and that's what we did. My mother, you'd come home from school. School got out at 3:15. You walked through the door. And in a moment or two, your father would come through the door from the people up. Show me he had this first shift. And my mother would attack him verbally and scream at the top of her lungs. She hated boy children. She did. My mother was wrong. She should never. Why the Lord did not give her a bunch of girls? Well, it probably would have been worse. I know from all my family what happened. years old, 7. You don't think about clocks. You know, we didn't even know how to read a clock. You don't even realize that, you know, if you're going out at a certain time, that's what the highlight is. And even worse would be, let's say somebody took my father's, one of his screwdrivers or his hammer or something and played with it. He didn't put it back on the tool bench. Because we have a building out, was connected to the house. It was a barn. And if that tool came missing, then he would line the 7 of us up by age and height, which is exactly the same. I'm number 3, and I would be the 3rd line. By height, I was the same. I'm both the 3rd and 1st, and it went on like that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all boys. Who did it? Did you do it?
Nah, I didn't do it.
First one would say no. Beat him up. Second one would say no. Beat him up. You had to stand there and watch this go on. Third one would be me. Did you do it? No. Well, you know, it's kind of hard to take a whooping when your pants are down around your ankles because he's looking for something to hit. I remember the day that my father accidentally struck one of my brothers just below his ass with a leather strap and caught him high in the back of the legs, just under the cheeks of his ass. And the noise my father got out of that told my father, that's a better target. And I was waiting my turn. Monster, fucker, it was such a much better target. And he'd go to all 7 of us, you know, standing there weeping and crying. And he'd go, who took my screwdriver? Nobody raises their hand. Nobody gives it up. Number 1. Number 2. He'd start right through all 7 of us. You know, standing there rubbing your asses and crying and just weeping. And I mean, this shit hurt so fucking bad. Who took it? And we went to round 3. All of us knew it was brother number 4. He never gave it up. See, the thing was, if he gave it up the first time, walk away, accept you. Okay? And then you got one brow. Because it was your turn. If someone did it, everybody went round after round. We learned after, it took a while, I don't know if it took a few years, but when we passed round 3, it was Bradley. It was Bradley, brother number 5. It was him. And we would all yell at it. Bradley, tell him you did it. Tell him you did it. Now, Bradley had PTSD when he was a little kid. We didn't know that. Nobody could even tell you what PTSD was back then. He would freeze up. Now, before he died in that car wreck, I talked to him. I said, do you remember the lineups we would have to get in? Yeah, I remember those. I said, do you remember what happened next? Well, after we got in the lineup, he goes, no. You serious? He goes, no. I really don't. I remember we'd be put in the lineup, and Dad would be really, really mad. He'd rip his belt off himself, and but I would freeze, and I can't remember anything. Bradley, you took as many whoopings as we took, fucking belt. He said, but I don't remember what Dad did next. I said, Bradley, you're the one who wouldn't confess when it was your fault. And all 7 of us, we got our asses beat. I'm talking to him, you know, he's in his fucking 50s. He goes, no, I didn't know that. I have no memory. I said, are you shitting me? He goes, nope. Holy shit. While you were a little kid, you had no fucking idea that the last time you went to see us, I don't remember any of it. I remember being put in the lineup. And I started thinking about how much of a shock it must have been for him. Because for him, he couldn't handle it at all. I could barely fucking handle it. I mean, it was like tripping me mine, and I knew I was going to. Imagine the times that you get beaten over and over and fucking over and over and fucking over and over again, and you know you're innocent. You start thinking you're guilty, and that was me. My brother Bradley had no memory, and the day he died in a car wreck, 3 years ago, I think it was, April. When he gets T-boned, my first thought was, he's at peace now. My brother died in a car wreck, and my first thought was, he's at peace. All gone. He's at peace. Late in November, 1 year. And I can't tell you why. My father went after Bradley. And he beat that poor child. He beat him and beat him so severely. And when my father got done beating him, it was late in the night. And of course, 5 of us, and each one slept in the room together. We were the 2 glorious twins. And when Bradley come in the room, he never went to sleep that night. He stayed awake. And he was talking the whole night long to something that we were looking at that none of us could see. And one by one, we woke up. We're watching him, and he's having this long conversation with something on the floor. And he's petting some kind of an animal. This went on for 4 days. He didn't sleep at all. I mean, he was up all day long, and we were really small children. We were trying to figure out what good. And my mother and father are looking and trying to figure it out. And they're going, what are you talking to? You see the caterpillar? The silver caterpillar? And he's talking to this caterpillar. Apparently talked back to him. And then there was the robot dog made out of metal. I've never heard a child in my whole life talking to a robot dog except my brother Bradley. See, he collapsed through a world of make-believe because of the beating. The only defense he had was to collapse into a world of make-believe. He was so totally fucked up from the beating he took that night, and I didn't see that beating because that was a bad one. I heard the noise. That's all I can tell you.
Interesting.
They took him to the doctor up in the near hospital in Rufford, Maine, and the doctor said, I have never seen anything like this. I can only suggest that we get him down to Boston Children's Hospital. And they did. They got him down to Boston Children's Hospital. And this went on in a couple of weeks. And when he came home, he really wasn't any different, but at least he would sleep. He still saw these things. And my mother was given directives to take him down to Farmington University of Maine every day for 5 days a week during the weekdays, and leave him there and pick him up at the end of the day, and they were going to study his brain damage. They wanted to study his brain damage. Now, back in those days, you could throw your kid into a wall, pick him up by the feet, and use him as a lash against the concrete floor. It didn't matter. You'd get away with it. Well, and I'll tell you, I see some shit my father did with other brothers. Motherfucker. And I knew I was next in line. And there's parts of my world when I was a child I'm sure I cannot force myself to remember. Like Bradley, he couldn't remember one of them fucking lineups. He couldn't remember one. He remembered getting in them for years, but he couldn't remember what happened next. I actually felt good for him when he died that day. My other brother Bobby, who died in 1999, with a 9mm shot from one ear right out the other. Pulled his eyes out of his head.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry to hear that.
It really happened.
Yeah.
From the other side, his eyes came out of his head. He fell to the floor.
I think we should have warned our audience it might be too much information.
Well, let me tell you something. He died that day.
know how you would know that.
I knew he was in peace because the day we put my father in the ground that same year, and his 6 sons carried him.
The what carried him?
They went to put a cart under my father's coffin to drive him over to the hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And I told them, you get rid of your fucking cart because his children are here.
It's what here?
His children are here.
I
I have to carry his coffin.
Wow.
I have to. And so do they.
Yeah.
And we took it like my father. We put him in the ground. I had a shovel I had put behind the pile of dirt. And I threw in the first shovel full. Gave it to my brother Bobby. And he threw in the shovel full. And he gave it to my mother. And we walked away. Bobby and I.
Hmm.
Bobby said, I can stop hating that bastard now. That was the way. Was the way. 1999. In November the 7th, the birthday of Bradley, number 5, Bobby took a night milking. 1 year in Oakdale. 1 year in Oakdale. The handful of me. On the sidewalk. In front of all his friends.
Hmm.
And I said, he's at peace.
Yeah, but I don't know how you... Yeah, but I don't know how you would know that.
I watched the life he lived.
Well, I mean,
He told me one day he killed him there. Stabbed him to death right there in front of me. Watched him bleed to death outside the barn. And he did it while a teenager. He did it from the vicious way that he learned from his father. He just simply struck out with the violence that was struck onto him.
yeah.
One day put him in the sea bag. You know, I don't watch it because I was next. And he put him in a military sea bag, army bag. My father carried World War II, and he stuck my brother Bobby in head first. And then he duct taped. Before he put him in, he duct taped his mouth and his hands together.
Why'd he do
Put the
that?
bag down over his head.
Why did he duct tape his hands?
So he couldn't escape and he couldn't scream. And then after my father pulled that army bag with my father's name all over it, down on my brother's feet, he taped it around my brother's feet.
This is where your brother's still...
The one that's dead from the 9mm, and that's why I say he's asleep with peace.
Oh, so this happened before your father passed
Oh,
away.
This is our childhood now. I'm speaking. I've gone back now.
Wow.
Bobby was 11 years old when he got stuffed in the sea bag.
Oh, well, that was a
He was
little...
11 years old.
That was a
My
little...
father duct taped his mouth shut so he couldn't cry out. And I'm just staring at his fucking eyes and he's pouring out tears. He knows I'm next. And he knows I gotta watch him go first. And my father takes his mouth, takes his hands together like he was in handcuffs. Pulled the sea bag down over his head, taped that together, walked behind him on that hardwood floor, and as hard as he could, he pulled. And as high as he could lift, he pulled the backwards behind my brother, the sea bag into the air. And I got to watch from that sea bag my brother's face
You witnessed this?
I witnessed it.
And he said you were next?
I was next.
He did it to you, too?
I was told to sit in that chair until it was my turn. And then my father picked that sea bag up and around the room and slammed it into the floor face down and slammed it into the wall, slammed it into the ceiling, and he fucking beat that bag in every direction he could beat it, and like he was swinging a baseball bat. And all I could hear was my mother's whimpering inside.
Wow.
And this went on, and I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting my damn turn.
So did you get your...
I'm waiting my turn. This is a child, 12
Wow.
years old, watching his little brother get taken, and I know I'm next.
Were you?
Yeah, I was.
Wow.
One time my father says, go downstairs and sit in the room alone. That means I get the air and bounce off the walls and the floors for another half hour.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden I quiet. My brother Bobby comes downstairs. He can barely walk. And quietly says to me, his face is all gathered, bang, swollen. His hands have been ripped up, the tape ripped off, has been ripped off his face. He looks horrible. He says, it's okay, Bruce. He's not going to touch you. He's too tired. I'm looking at Bobby and going, you took all of it.
Oh, Jesus.
He said, that's okay. 11 years old, he took that beating. And no, I didn't get my turn. When I finally came downstairs, she was all covered in sweat. He could barely breathe. I never got down upstairs. My little brother Bobby said, it's okay.
Well, it would be nice if it was seen as a nightmare that's behind you.
All we have to do is
Oh, I'll believe that.
every night changed. Laying in sand, knee deep. Praying to look behind you. Over and over, you run, every day you run.
Nothing like a reoccurring nightmare.
Happened every night. From the time I was born until I was 15 years old.
From when to when? From when to when?
15.
When did it start?
From the time, well, I remember the first time we beat my youngest brother back old.
What?
So,
How old?
a year.
So that means you were 2 years old and you witnessed this?
No, my youngest brother back.
Oh.
I was 5.
Oh.
I don't know when it started with me, but I know it started with Baxter at once.
Baxter?
The youngest, yeah.
Oh, wow. How many kids total?
7 of us, 2 are missing now.
Wow.
The 2 that are missing, I say, they're at peace. The 2 that are at the worst. The 2 whose minds were destroyed the most. They couldn't cope.
So you're thinking to yourself, they're at peace and you're not.
No, that bastard, he put him in the grave 15 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you're figuring they're at peace because they don't, you know, their bodies are gone, and you have a body and a memory and all of that, but you're not at peace, or are you at peace?
the day I write this story, I'll be at peace.
The day what? The day what?
The day I can write this story, I'll be at peace.
You mean write it as in like on a word processor?
I used to walk home from school in the summertime before summer vacation. People have their screens open, and I would hear other children being beaten on Wells Street, because all the schools are on Wells Street, and our house is on Wells Street. So when I walked down the street, I could hear the Tecumseh boys and their twin sisters being beaten.
Wow.
And I could hear so many different children being beaten. And when we turned in our own driveway, maybe one of my own school, maybe I'm alone, I might hear one of my own brothers being beaten, and I would then try to sneak literally on my belly around the house and hide in the barn, because I didn't want to be called into this for whatever reason that was going on. It didn't make a reason. Just like my mother screaming at my father. She would scream until he capitulated and started beating. My mother was the cause of our beatings. Always was.
Wow.
Like, supposed to be asked, what about your mom? I would say she's evil. Very bad person. My brother Bradley, by the way, when he came back from Boston Hospital, back in the day when he got that severe head trauma,
Wow.
one of the neighbors, and I happened to be close enough to hear the conversation, they said, so what happened to Bradley? He's home now from Boston. Oh, and by the way, those 5 days a week, my mom was supposed to take him to the university. She refused to. He wasn't worth her time. So anyway, back to the neighbors asking my mom, so what happened to Bradley? He came back from the hospital, right? And my mother said the doctor refused to tell us what's wrong with him because it's too close to Christmas, and he didn't want to ruin our Christmas for us. And I don't doubt that my mother, true, I don't doubt that at all. Now, Bradley, before he died, he went to the Rufford Hospital here in Rufford, Maine, and they had no records that he'd never been admitted from brain injury. And he contacted the Boston Children's Hospital, which I know he was admitted to and kept for 2 weeks. And they had no records of him being admitted, ever, under anything. So, you see, back in the day, you could beat your children as deeply as you wanted to. I've had one relative say to me that, I know your father, I know what he did to you boys. And if he did it today, he'd be in prison for the rest of his life. Because they knew what my father was doing. And my father put up with the same beatings from his father, and my mother put up with beatings from her drunk parents. So, you know, where's the blame go? You're a grown-up, don't beat your children, or you're a grown-up man, do what your parents taught you. Who fucking knows? Who knows? I got a book in my head I've had there for 20 years, 12 Wells Street. I read into it one night when I'm asleep. I write chapters.
In your sleep?
In my sleep. I can do it in my sleep, yes.
Hmm.
I'm cognitive aware that I have that with my sleep. I know when a dream's a dream. I still have monsters in my dreams, but I know I can, I will say, reach in your pocket and take out that weapon. Because I know I'm asleep, so I reach in, I have the weapon for the monster. I can always get rid
what for the month?
A weapon for the monster.
Weapon for the monster.
A weapon for the monster.
Sure.
And what is?
And what is the weapon exactly?
Whatever I need it to be.
Ah.
Or I can simply straight up fly through the trees, get above it all, and go to another location and land.
That is definitely cool.
Well, that is definitely cool. I've done that before.
So I've done this thousands of times in my life, and I've asked the PTSD counselors, a couple of them, and the psychiatrists, a couple of them here with the youth, and they look at me because I don't think they understand it. It's a good thing. I tell them it's a good thing. It's when something goes wrong in your dream, and you're cognitive of your dream, lucid dreaming, it's called lucid dreaming.
Hmm.
You're aware that you're dreaming, so you just take your problem and leave it and go somewhere else.
Hmm.
Called lucid dreaming. You can look it up on the internet.
Oh, I know about lucid dreaming.
And I learned about this many years ago. And it's been a benefit to me, but my brothers never did learn it. I still have
What
bars
happens if
in
you get
back
stuck permanently?
Well, what happens if you get stuck permanently lucid dreaming?
No, you can't.
Huh?
No, you're going to wake up. You're done with it.
Wake up to what?
Wait, a human being never sleeps from dream in and dream out more than 90 minutes at a time, typically almost 80 minutes. So between 80 and 90 minutes, you started from nothing to deep, deep sleep in the middle of it, of those 80 or 90 minutes, until nearly awake when, it wake you up.
Hmm.
And then you fall back down for another 80, 90 minutes before you start this again. And you fall down. And people, this is normal. This is what people do all over the planet. It's everybody, man, woman, and child. We're on an 80 to 90 minute cycle. Mine happens to be 80 minutes. And I know that because of all kinds of different things. I know that. I've tracked mine since I was about 20 years old. I'm 60 just this past week. So 40 years I've tracked mine. I have an 80-minute cycle.
Hmm.
But what do they call it if?
But what do they call it if somebody is permanently stuck, thinking that even when they wake up to what is called this reality, that they're still lucid dreaming?
Well, I don't think lucid dreaming applies to them. I think some type of fear of reality actually applies to them. Because some people, well, let's go back to my brother Bradley. The minute my father called us in for a 7-boy lineup, he went into fantasy.
No girls in the
No girls in the family?
Wow.
Not a girl one. No.
Wow.
My mother hated boys. She didn't want one. She had 7.
Ah.
So,
Wow.
back in the 50s, when we were all born, father named the boys and mother named the girls. Father took care of the boys. I'm going to tell you a story, and the story is true, and I hope you understand this, meaning my mother twins, and for some reason they were entered in the various contests, photographs, black and white, and they were considered the 2 most beautiful twins, children in this whole state of Maine before they even were a year old. And my mother found that to be a position of honor. And so did my father. Strong, virile, mean, two man, virile man, 2 male children look so handsome, like identical children. And that's the way they were. Well, 11 months after these 2 twins were born, I showed up. My mother gave birth to me. Now, I had no idea of what I'm going to tell you until I was 24 years old and I brought a girlfriend to my parents' home. Okay? My mother fell in love with this girl. My father fell in love with her too. I could not understand it. I went oh, well, you and Barbara stay over. And I'm thinking, my parents have never allowed any of their male children with a girlfriend in their house in a bed. No, I can't believe they're offering me the one spare bed they got in the house with my girlfriend for the night. I thought, this is amazing. This is amazing. My father said, Bruce, this girl is such a winner. She's so good to you. And I'm thinking, wow, this old guy's got fucking weird, man. So anyway, her and I went out for a walk that night. And I was going, wow, I ain't never seen anybody get off. She said, your father and I have the same birthday. I said, really? She said, yes, he and I were born on. I said, no, I know my dad's Valentine's Day, but Barbara, I didn't know what to do with. Well, the minute I mentioned that, your dad gave me a big hug, and then after that, while your mom and I were sitting alone, she said, you know, I can't understand why George treated Bruce the way he did. He didn't do it to the others. And I'm looking at this girl and I'm going, you know, I'm thinking in my head, I married this girl. She became the wife and mother of my two children. I never told her a word that you've heard so far, okay? She still doesn't know what happened to my family. I never told her. I never thought to tell her. It wasn't in my mind. But she did tell me this. That my mother said, when I was born, 11 months after the twins, that she didn't want anything to do with me. So she left me in the crib and would go in and, you know, once every other day or so, change my diaper. I'm sure it was a mess. And she would just leave a bottle there, and then she noticed I wasn't drinking any milk. Well, everyone in town thought she was a wonderful mother because of the twins. And they were the glorious, beautiful twins in the state of Maine. That was somehow made her a special mother there in the home, you know, Dixfield, Maine. So I was nearly dead, and she had a doctor come over, and I was almost dead. And my father had never, at that point, picked me up, but he would spend his time with the twins and play with them all day long when he could. My mother wouldn't pick me up because she didn't like boys. This is what she's telling my new girlfriend. So I've been left crib, and I'm dying because I just don't care to eat. Now, I read about this years before I knew about myself. It's called withering. If you don't have physical contact with the baby will simply die. It works great. They're not starving, they're fine. They will die. They won't eat. They're not hungry. They die. If you can't touch them, they die. It's called withering. And somebody had taught my mother that word, because my mother said that word to Barbara that day that she met the girl. The day she met the girl. I don't know why George was like that, but I wasn't going to pick him up, but blah, blah, blah. And then he was withering. And before he died, and I didn't want anybody in town, this is my mother speaking to my girlfriend, I didn't want, you know, the women in town to think I was a bad mother. So I made a decision to breastfeed him, and that's when he came back to life. And this is, you know, I only knew about this because the girlfriend told me. Now let me tell you something. Years before that, 4 years before, I met some people in Hawaii. And they said to me, there's trouble in your family. And I said, okay. And I said, we want to sit down with you. It wasn't a seance. I don't know how to describe what they were doing. And they simply said, screaming and yelling, "Why are you having another baby? I don't want this baby. I don't want this boy. This is what your mother will probably mean to hurt you. And they won't feed you. And then you're getting sick." And these people are telling this freaking story to me, which is exactly what my mother 4 years later tells my new girlfriend. And that's the truth. And the only reason I'm alive to talk about this today is because my mother did not want to be embarrassed because one of her children died.
Yeah. No.
So, I was second in birth, third in line. Bobby came next. He's dead. 9mm Bradley is next. He took the T-bone in the car crash. Bartlett is next. Poor bastard, he's lost his mind. All a bunch of same stuff. Baxter, well, he's not going to live much longer. 5 or 6 heart attacks. He gets pumps, test his legs to move blood around. Makes me sick, you know. My father did say one time, "I wish I'd taken 5 of you." No, remember the 7 of us. The twins. My father said, "I wish I had taken 5 of you, thrown you in a fucking burlap bag and rocks and thrown you into a river just like an unwanted litter of puppies." That was my... Some reason I don't understand. I honored him until he died. When he was ill, I was the first one there. When he had needs, I was the first one there. Always, I was the first one there to help the man who wouldn't pick me out of his crib. Amazing to me, I don't understand it, but that is the truth, and that's how it went down. Put that down there.
What's that? What's that?
That's a beep, 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 beep.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I got so many electronic gadgets and computerized.
Well, I got a charger the whole time, so I'm not too worried about it.
Oh, maybe it's your phone. I didn't hear a beep. Yeah, I didn't hear a beep, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a beep.
Well, Joe, let me tell you something. The story I told you is true. Every word, every single word is true. I stand in my I honor my past, my life behind it.
Are you on a cell phone? Are you?
Cell phone, yes, it's the only one I have.
Oh, okay, because I think I called you, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You called me.
Oh, okay, because it cost me to call you. I
Well,
called.
you should let me call you. Just send me an email, say call me, and I'll call you. Because it shouldn't call you. It shouldn't cost you to call me. Like,
well, it does.
So I've got like thousands of rolls a minute every year because I don't use the phone that much.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that we know that, I just will call you, and then that'll only cost me a little bit, you know, and then you can call me back.
Sure, you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I was telling you, there's been stuff that was left. Let me tell you a story. Short jump, okay?
All right.
Now, you know what I told you? The first thing, let me describe the house. The house is very big, 18 rooms. This is the home we grew up in Dixie. The cellar was, the building was built in 1713, I believe. The basement was hand dug out, and it was great big rocks. Great, huge round rocks. They made up the walls in the basement. There wasn't no concrete making up the walls. And you could stick your arms in between the rocks because they were like, mouse and rat tunnels that have been there from 1700 or something. And here we were in 1950. tell you a joke. And this joke, which I told to my three brothers, two alive now, and one is a dead one with the car, Bradley and Bartlett and Baxter. We used to call them the 3-year-old kids because they were the three youngest. So Bradley, Bartlett, and Baxter and I, the four of us. 4 out of the 7 boys are sitting at a picnic table in Sebago, Maine. The wife of Baxter is sitting there too. And I just looked at my 3 brothers and I said, you guys want to hear this really wild fucking joke I heard, and I think you guys will appreciate it. Well, yeah, sure, yeah, go ahead. And I said, and of course his wife, she just looked at it, I said, okay, so we'll tell a joke from the person, that's what you have to understand, I'll tell a joke from the person who is telling the joke. All right, they said, okay, good. Now, we're out there pumping joints and drinking beer and having a quiet time, the 4 of us, and I said, my father says to me, don't you ever open the door to the basement. Don't you ever open the door to the cellar. Ever. You can never do that. It's every day he tells me, don't you ever open the door to the basement. Don't you ever open that door. And this goes on for years and years. And one day, he's not around. And I get to thinking, I'm going to open that door to the basement. I'm going to look. And I did. Do you know what I saw?
No. No.
I saw trees and birds and sky. My 3 brothers started laughing so fucking hard they were puking the food up and fell off. And the wife of Baxter said, are you all fucking sick? What's funny about that? And her husband, Baxter, sat up and he was still fucking laughing. He said, you told me you had a bad life because your daddy didn't give you a lot of attention. Did you hear what he just said? We used to get locked in the 3rd fucking cellar for days at a time with no windows. And when I opened the door, I saw the sun and birds and trees. It's fucking hilarious. And she's going, you're all fucking sick. And she walked away. And the 4 of us were, I mean, literally at this point, the 4 of us were on our backs, on the ground, laughing. All 4 of them, off the table, couldn't even sit down. That was so funny because only people like us could appreciate that fact. Because when my mother wanted quiet in the house, she would pick anybody all up and shove us down the cellar stairs and turn the lights off. And no windows. So we could hear the mice and the rats scurrying around, and we got familiar with the rats. Get to know them. I've never been afraid of a rat or a mouse in my life. Not since then. Nope. Now, I'll tell you a little story. Helps me a lot, anyway. We moved out of Dixfield when I was 13 years old.
Hey, if you're going to start another story, call me back on your nickel, okay?
I will, on my nickel.
Yeah, 207-778-6100, which is hard.
Got the radio. Call you right back.
All right, cool.
Good deal.
Yep. You're listening to ThoughtBridge. Yeah, you're listening to ThoughtBridgeRadio.com live on the air. This is ThoughtBridge live for July 4th, 2014. And it's now almost close enough for government work, half past the hour of 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The sun is evidently coming above the horizon, looking out the beautiful Sandy River. It looks like it's overcast here. And we are broadcasting over the member stations of the Worldwide Radio Network and also now Worldwide Network, also YouTube and Google Talk, which is called Hangouts. And you can go and check out a little bit of what's going on and more about it if you care to at www.thoughtbridge.tv. And we're back on the phone with Bruce.
Hey,
Yeah.
my battery is the other big thing showing up. Battery overheating because I've been charging it while we've been talking, but let's not worry about that. I have a spare battery.
Well, if it burns out, you can get another one, yeah.
So when I turned
Disposable.
13, 12, I was 12 or 13. We moved from there in the country, Dixfield, London area, here in Maine. And I did go up to 12 Wells Street. Like Weldon. 12 Wells Street. And we moved down to Portland, Maine, and to 64 Clark Street. And when I first got to Portland, you discover that there's gangs running the streets. And you're not familiar, and all they want to do is, run up on you and scare you and beat on you. And I had them try that a few times, but they never tried to run down the country kid.
Yeah.
I could outrun anybody. That's fucking severe. I could run like they'd never seen in their lives. In fact, King Junior High School, which I got stuck in first, at the bottom of an extremely steep hill, they came up to get me, and I first realized, what the hell is this all about? Bolted up the hill, and when I hit the top of the hill, which is quite a bit of an elevation change, I was still moving hard as I started, and these other guys weren't like halfway up there. I said, shit, this ain't nothing. Beat them all. So this went on day after day, week after week, until I finally, they cornered me outside, and I weighed maybe, 73 pounds. I was running. And this 200 and some pounder come up behind me, put his hand on my shoulder, he said, fuck with my friend. I looked up at him like, who the hell is this? Still on this day, my friend, and these guys all ran away. So he became a deep friend of mine. But in the meantime, I'd learned that if you're alone in the city, you need to be able to defend your ass. As it turned out, a sensei from Shotokan Karate in China had come to America, a 4th-degree black belt. Now, if you don't know what that means, let me try to explain it to you in the simplest terms. Have you ever seen the Kung Fu series, Karate, with David Carradine?
What with David Carradine?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I watched.
Have you ever seen Bruce Lee in his 3 movies?
I think
I caught one of those. I'm not sure, but Carradine, yeah.
Or have you ever seen Jet Li? Jet Li in any of his movies?
Not sure. Might have.
The reason I ask is because all of them were trained in Shotokan. And I was trained in Shotokan for 3 years, 6 days a week, 3 hours a evening, and I moved simply by reflex.
Oh, cool.
And I started at the age of, I think, 13. And I paid my own way. Nobody took me. I went on my own. It was something I wanted to do. And I remember one day I can hear my father talking to my mother and saying, down in Portland, now, by the way, I should add addendum. My father got us first moved into Portland out of the little town of Dixfield. He had a couple of sessions where he lined the 7 of us up and went to whooping on us, and it makes a loud noise when you beat children. They scream, they yell, they yelp, they whine, and the summertime, windows are open, people are hearing, and neighbors actually came to the house while us children were at school and said, "Who are you fucking people? You can't come into this city and whoop on children like this. We're not going to listen to it." So my father and my mother quit this organized beating of children. And that was kind of nice. We got released. I was about 13 or whatever years old at that time. So I was 14. But anyway, when I turned around 15, I'd been in school for 2 years, maybe. And I was extremely thin. I had the body style of Bruce Lee. It was simply because I was thin. And I heard my dad and my mom one day, and my dad saying, "Oh, he doesn't know shit." And my dad's ex-World War II Germany, and he's also ex-Korean War. He's a freaking Army hero. I'm telling you, I'm not serious. I'm not kidding. He's serious. I'm serious. He's a war hero. Fears nothing. And he's saying to my mother, and I can hear it, "Oh, he doesn't know nothing. What the hell? He was going to this thing at night." Well, he never went down and saw me do anything. And I'd gone out of state, actually, with competitions and stuff like that. But no, he can't have a good word for his own children. He has to have some kind of nasty talk. And I'm used to it. But I hear him saying it in the house where I'm in the house, and he's in the next room. As I walked into the next room, he stepped up behind me, and it's kind of like you pinch somebody on the side, right at the belt buckle line, you give somebody a light pinch. He said something to my mother about, "Watch this." I heard him, because I used to have excellent hearing, beyond normal. And I heard him say, "Watch this." He's going to do something when I walked into that room. When I walked into that room, he made a pitch. He come up behind me, and he made a pitch. I spun around. I went up in the air, just as light as a feather, and my right foot, my right toe, snapped out as fast as lightning under the tip of his nose, and I dropped back onto the ground in a full karate stance, ready to do it again. And actually said to myself, while I was touching the end of his nose, knock his head over backwards, or just give him a warning shot. I chose to give him a warning shot. But I left the smell of my foot on the tip of his fucking nose. And my mother had stood on the side and seen all this. And all I can hear now is screaming, "George, don't you ever touch him again. Don't you ever try that again." These are the two people who are conspiring that I do nothing. I just barely landed back on the ground and reassumed my attack position. I was ready to fucking kill him. If he wants to come back in one more time, I will make it a hit. So the first strike of my foot was simply to say, "Back up." I watched him stand there with his eyes big as saucers, and just to say, "What the fuck just happened to me?" He had never seen anybody do that, and he never insulted my karate, knowing, again, attempted to spook me after that. I never was struck by that asshole, and at my 15th year, I know for a fact that's when I put an end to that man putting his hands on me. I put an end to it. Because I made him wonder, just what will I do if he tried to again? He thought he knew how to fight, and he did. When he was in the military, he knew how to fight. He had no fucking idea what I knew, though. And I was ready to drop him. I mean, 15 years old, maybe 100. Damn, what I weigh? Fuck, man, 140 pounds? Seriously. Bruce Lee or 9 or 15 times they can get back up and fight you. No. You hit once, snap a man's collarbone stronger than a piece of wood the same size. Take your finger and reach around your own collarbone. Good. Do you have wood? 90 more. Yeah, right. And if I know how to hit it, then your shoulder will suddenly be in front of your nose. And you won't be able to use that arm. Most people can't fight once they've got one collarbone break. It's meant to break collarbones only. It's meant to kill. It's called kill with directed. First impact to the chest is meant to give you a heart attack and put you down. Because it's going to leave such a bruise on your heart, you'll never beat right again. I'm not making this up. You can actually go look up Shotokan, and it takes you some study, but this is what I went and did for 6 nights a week, 3 hours a night for 3 years, and nobody in my neighborhood ever walked against me. Nobody ever in a gang ever attacked me again. Nope, not once. I had one guy pick a steel pipe up to go after me, and I started laughing at him. I said, hey, there's another pipe over there beside you. Why don't you grab that one too? He said, what do you mean? I said, because you're filling your hands with wasted time. I said, while you're trying to hold that pipe, I'm going to do shit to you you've never had done. He's like, what? I said, go ahead. 1 pipe, 2 pipes, no problem. Come on. And I'm laughing. I'm laughing so hard. He threw the pipe to the ground. He goes, fuck you. I don't go fight you. I said, well, she wanted to fight me. That's fine. Walk away, chicken shit. Yeah, I had a guy pull a big old blade on me one time. I started laughing at him. I said, come on. Why are you laughing? I said, because you're going to eat that blade before I'm done with you. You will eat it. Oh, you think? I said, no, you're busy hanging on to it. I'm not having to hold it. You don't understand. You have to hang on to it. I don't. That means I've got the advantage over you. People see shit like that and they're like, you're fucking crazy. I'm not crazy. And I see him run away. And I go, okay. So I spent a few years in learning Shotokan, and I don't have to fight because nobody wants to fight me anymore.
Oh, that's cool.
My own mother does not know the color of the belt that I got. But I know I used to kick the shit out of the brown belt.
Yeah.
And the brown belt is 1 step below black. Black comes after brown. You do understand that. It's only black after brown. And I used to kick the shit out of the brown belt.
Isn't there the black belt's the highest, but there are levels of black belt?
There's 10 levels of black belt, and then there's 10 levels of red. Red is unfucking believable.
Better than black belt?
So, yeah, this is where you get into shit that, I mean, I'm going to say it again. It's unfucking believable. It's things that you wouldn't believe if you actually saw them do it.
Oh, yeah.
They could take wet bamboo, wet red belt, okay, a red belt, a 1 degree wet red belt, and it goes up from there. They could take a slice of watermelon, okay, and stand it up. The rind is down, the wet part's up, and it comes to a fine point. It's a slice of watermelon, right? They get 2 of them on either side. Then they can take a wet bamboo, and they can lay it on top. And then with a strike of the palm of the hand, they can snap the wet bamboo and not leave a mark on the wet watermelon. And the watermelon, the rind was on bottom, and the wet and the red of the watermelon was on top. That's what a red belt, a 1 degree red belt can do.
Wow.
When there's a term used in karate, at least in Shotokan, and it is called focus, okay? I look at you, you're my opponent, okay? I I know where I'm going to hit you. I know where I want to. I may not be. I may have to block you 200 times before I take that final blow. But when I hit it, I'm going to hit that location, and I'm going to push an inch and a half deep into it, and then I'm going to lock every muscle in my body up, right to the tips of my toes, top of my head, is tight. And when I do that, all of my physical energy will transfer in at the inch and a half deep into your chest. Suddenly, you've got shattered ribs, and I'm just standing there looking at you while you topple over backwards because your heart stopped beating. Not fight back from correct Shotokan. They don't fight back. That's what it's called. It's called killer karate because it was used by the ninja. The ninja or ninjai did not use. You gotta understand. There's a big difference between TV and like Jet Li is close to good. Bruce Lee was better because when he knocked the guy down, he stayed down like he should stay down. Jet Li is more for the movie. He works the same great speed, but he'll fight a guy for half an hour. And let me tell you something. If somebody hits you in the throat or the chest or gets a hold of your arm, listen, if I get a hold of your wrist, you throw a punch, I'm going to grab your wrist. I had no lady. My girlfriend, and she's a beautiful woman, loved the death out of her, sexy. And one day I woke up, we're having coffee, and all of a sudden she started throwing punches at me. I made breakfast and did all that, and I'm like, what the hell is all this about? I let her hit my face a couple of times. I literally allowed it because my hands want to come up and a blade and knock her back, and then finally we're done with this. What I did is she throws a punch, and I punched her in the back of the hand. The same thing. So she's throwing a hand, and she's trying to hit me in the face. And so I punched her back of the hand, back of her hand, right? So the other hand, I punch her right 2 knuckles, just the first 2. Back of the hand, hard. And she's shaking her hands going, what the fuck did you just do? I said, stop swinging at me. She said, you hit me. I said, no, you tried to hit me again. Then I already allowed that. Stop hitting me. I don't know what's happening with you. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what's going on here. I fucking hate you. And then she goes to kick me in the nuts. Well, no, she went to punch me again. I was standing, at this point, we're up on our feet. And I'm standing there, she goes to punch me again, and I take my hand, and I, like, wringing out a cloth. I snatched her right hand with my left and turned it upside down. But I got her by the wrist. And she threw her other hand, and I had the same thing. Both hands, I've got her by the wrist. It's like snatch, snatch. I can see what somebody's going to do. I can. It doesn't matter what they're going to do. I can reach out and I can hit. I can block. I can snatch. Doesn't matter. Once I snatch you, you're in trouble. You're in big fucking trouble. I'm getting tired of it. And I snatched left and right, and I had both her hands, and she went to knee me in the nuts, and I took both of her arms and shoved them right down in front of her knee, and she actually kicked herself in the hands with her knee. She went to do it again with the other knee, and she goes, stop fucking doing that. I said, stop trying to hit me. I don't know what's going on with you this morning. Just quit. I mean, I just got out of bed and made breakfast and did all the stuff, and she's going mental. And then she went to headbutt me, and I still got her 2 hands. I still get wrapped up in mine by the wrist. And she tried to hit me right in the nose with her forehead. I mean, the perfect headbutt. And I'm ready for it. I mean, this is all happening like boom, 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 boom. And so I step back, and then she comes in with a headbutt, and then I take the palm of my right hand, and I slam her right in the middle of her chest. Right the solar plexus, and she's up in the air, feet pointing towards me, and I'm thinking, oh shit, she's gonna land so hard on that linoleum floor. And I reached out and grabbed her with my right hand by the collar, her clothes, and set her on the floor. The whole time I was doing that, she was clawing the fucking arm I was hanging on her with. I was like, God damn it, you bitch. I jumped back and I looked at my fucking arm and it was all tore up, and I said, was that all about this morning before you went to work? She goes, what are you talking about? I said, that attitude you had attacking me. She goes, what are you, crazy? I said, how can I be crazy? She goes, I didn't do anything like that. I said, yeah, you did. Now that became a normal event in our lives, and I realized that something was deeply, deeply wrong with that girl. Very deeply.
Yeah.
But finally just decided to get the hell out of Dodge. I had to use more Shuddercon with her in pushing her away from me than I have ever had to do with anybody in real life before or after.
Wow.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I did find out Mom and Dad, physical attacks, beating on each other. She watched, and then they'd go upstairs and beat the walls apart with having sex and making all kinds of noise. And I was like, well, when I finally said no more is no more, she said to me, I just want you to slap me around. I said, I know that, but I won't do that. Well, it would be fun. It would be exciting. I said, no, you don't understand. If I hit you that way, if I have, actually I said it like this. I said, if I have to lay my hands on you and that way, I'm not going to be loving you afterwards. Oh, but it would be so exciting. I said, no, there's nothing exciting about a man hurting a woman. Oh, but this is what I want you. How did you know I wanted you? I said, because I've heard this from 3 people I work with, and we all have to deal with women just exactly like you, and we're all trying to figure it out together. So you know I want this? I said, yes, I know you want this, but I'm not going to give you this. And then she goes, well, you're not much of a man. I said, you know what? A man that lays his hand on a woman and beats her up. I said, that's the guy who's not much of a man. I said, a man who can control his hands and not hurt a woman that's attacking him, I said, that's a real man. Oh, yeah, she wanted me, she was in here, man. She wanted me to kick the shit out of her. She said, oh, I know you'll never really hurt me, but the excitement of getting beat up, and I said, stop. I'm not your mother and father. I'm not into that. No, I can't. And so I basically had to tell her, you know, I can't live with you anymore. And now she lives with the man that molested her for 6 years. The stepfather. She's still dealing with him. I tell you, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Never in my whole life have I loved a woman like I loved her. Never. But she chose to go back to the guy that would fight with her mother. I mean, physically fight with her mother. And now, because mom's old and she can't fight, so she went up there, and last time I saw her, she was telling me, oh, we got you locked up with him. Yeah, I got him naked with him. And I said, you bitch. You're going to stand here and tell me how you got your shaved little thing going on, and right there in front of the guy that raped you when you were a teenager. I said, you know what? I don't need you talking to me. I don't need you around me. You are the absolute cunt. You are the one. You are the one. They made women like you that just cannot understand normal thinking. That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
And I tell you, from that point on, he respected me. I was treated very, very much differently by him and my mother both. Of course, I didn't care. I knew I was going to move out and get expired away from these fucking people as I could. I had no idea how to be around a woman or what to look for. Every woman I've been with in my life, I found the most traumatically tore up and fucked with, you know, and I'm drawn to them, which is just so horrible because then I have to go through it again. I've said over the years, I can think of a dozen different, 13 actually, different women, and they're all traumatically fucked up in the head. And I'm trying to figure, is that possible? I could find one, even at my age, could I find one that is not all tore up?
Well,
Actually, a normal human being. Well, then I have to say, I don't know what a normal human being is. I don't know. I have no idea. What's a normal girl?
now what's a normal human being? That's a better question.
Well, I had no sisters, see? So I had nothing to compare life to.
Yeah, but I mean, when you got here, you got programmed and conditioned by your programmers. You didn't know what the hell was going on.
I knew something.
Well, yeah, but you didn't have anything to compare experience with until you got enough awareness of the way it worked in the program.
You shouldn't be doing that would have been done to me. I knew there were things that were bad.
Right, I mean,
I knew this. That had been done to me, and I was not going to do that to another person.
yeah.
And I knew when I started having to see the PTSD Veterans Administration counselors,